this is going to be a video showing what I will be carrying on AT, what I just used on our trip from NOC to Fontana with single digits or lower temperatures, and a couple of things that I will be swapping out. Go ahead and start with what I wore while I was hiking and what was in the outside mesh pack, because part of that was what I wore. Go ahead and start with the lower layers. Ex officio briefs, boxers. The legs tend to ride up on me, so I use the briefs. Cuddle duds. There will be base layers. The first cuddle dud I got, I found it at a Goodwill store and tried it out, and eventually I bought some pants. And they're extremely warm for their weight, in my opinion. And I actually carry another pair in here for extra layer or sleep wear. I wear the shorts on top. There's some Nike shorts I picked up at Goodwill, and same with this dry shirt. Randy Sun socks. Just started wearing these not too long ago. Probably used them a little over 100 miles, along with my shoes, which are Ultra Lone Peak 4s. Doing pretty good. Toe piece is starting to separate, but they seem to be holding up fairly well. Some thin Columbia fleece gloves that I found in the hiker box at 19E on a hike, and I wear these when my hands get cold while hiking. Typically with the trekking poles, they'll get a little chilly on the fingers. Reposition. On top of that, frog togs, pants, and jacket. Didn't always need to wear these. 20-degree weather or so, I had them on, but sometimes it was a little warm and I'd have to open it up or take it off. But they provided quite a bit of warmth and blocked the wind really well. SOL blanket, it's one of the cheap ones. I just put the string on recently. I normally would just drape this over a rhododendron tree or a couple branches to get out of the rain if necessary, to have lunch. I always typically use it if I'm in the shelter to lay underneath my sleeping pad, but it rides an outside of this gas station poncho. I've had this for a couple of years now. It typically is my rain gear. As opposed to the frog togs. Occasionally I put those on with warmth or just to keep my legs a little more dry if it's cooler. But this goes over me and my pack, and it's worked really well, even in the summertime. Also, on the outside of the pack, keep my spot, black diamond spot headlamp. Had this for quite a while, it works fine. Recently added some micro spikes. These are Snowline, they're like 2.5 ounces or 6 ounces. They're from Lightsmith Gear, and I've never used them, but being that I'm hiking, hopefully starting in mid-February, there may be a need for this. I know if Blood Mountain was iced up, I'd be really happy to have these, but anyway, they're in there for now, packing my fears, right? Sawyer Mini, this typically didn't stay out there. If it was warmer, it'd be hooked onto here in the side pouch. But with the cold temperatures we just hiked at the NOC, this typically stayed in my pocket, and even while I'm hiking and while I was sleeping, so as to not let it freeze. I also shake it out and blow and try to get any of the water, or as much of it as I can, out of there. Also on the outside of the pack are my poop tickets and sanitizer, and use an MSR snow stake as a trowel, and then ping pong ball to help roll out my feet, other muscles, soreness, lightweight, and I don't use it all the time, but it does come in handy. Anyway, that would be it, except for my hat, where this hat would come on or off, depending on, mainly when we stopped, it would go on, but couple of times hiking downhill, you get a little chilly. It was good to have on. Okay, some of the things that I kept on the outside of my pack. Obviously, little C-seats, cushion pad for the bottom, but also put it down in the bottom of my quilt to help add warmth. I'm not sure if I really needed it or not, but it's there. And even one point in the night, I pulled it out and used it for my elbow the way I was sleeping. So keep my Z-Pack Solplex tin on the outside and spikes in a little bag. Mainly use MSR Groundhog Minis. Works just fine. On one of the side pockets, keep cut off bladder for a scoop. Get water, which leads me to one smart water style bottle with cap, backflush the soy mini, and then just a cheap water bottle that I keep flavored water in. Typically, I like the Mio vitamins. It's orange flavor, seems to work well, and flavor is good. And the side pockets typically keep snack bars, sometimes a little trash. There's a thermometer in this little case, and a couple of lighters in a baggie. I have this little shoulder pouch to keep my camera in, or my phone, which I'm recording on right now. A little rock that I'm carrying for somebody who passed away that couldn't finish the trail. Some headphones so I can listen to music. And a little bag I picked up in Hot Springs at the Outfitters. It's a lock sack, and the phone fits down in it. Even though my phone's supposed to be waterproof, some of those torrential downpours I've been in the past, this would come in handy. It's a little heavier duty than a Ziploc. So, other than that, I have a little Z-Pack's water bottle clip on the outside here. A goofy little whistle in case I fall down a hill and need to get some attention. And this is a piece of string that goes to hanging my food bag, which I will show you here in a little bit. Before I get too far, I use Black Diamond. These are the Black Diamond long distance Z's, I believe is what they're called. They're distant carbon Z. I got these at Play It Again Sports a few years ago, and they're still going strong. They also help hold my tent up, replaced the tips a few times, but other than that, they've worked real well. I've also used the Cascadia ones that come from Costco. I've actually bought mine on Amazon. They're carbon fiber, adjustable. Not too much heavier than these, but I really like these, so I've been sticking with these. So I left out a couple of things. Some of this stuff is from my hammock. I won't be using the hammock in the beginning because I don't want to carry an underquilt basically, and my sleep pad doesn't keep me warm below mid-20s like I would like it to. It works well in shelters in my tent, but I do know I'll be staying in shelters, and I'm just not willing to carry extra weight of an underquilt. So these are soft carabiners. They're just stuck on there. T-Key, I got it right. It's been hanging on here forever. I've used it a couple of times. Doubt I'll need it anytime soon, but it's just there. Tiny little knife. It's hooked on here, it clips off. It's like a baby Gerber. I've typically been carrying a Varanox, but I really only need the one blade. I hardly ever use it anyways. So think that covers everything that's on the outside. It's my food bag. I got these polyflume bags from Lightsmith, and it was in a 3-pack. So this has become my food bag, which I twist up and just put this string on. This little loop, continuous loop, which actually came from my hammock as well. And then hang it up from my rope or bear cables. Inside here, I have my stove. All this stuff I'll do a little more in-depth review, but just to give you an idea. So food changes a lot. This is some leftover food. We ended up staying at a hostel one night and having dinner there and breakfast. We got a little food, but power bars, some Fritos, some ramen, a couple of freeze-dried meals that I typically split in half. If I'm hungry enough, I'll just cook them twice. I'll put the freezer bags that I cook in the freezer bag, so I'll just stick these inside of here, and sometimes I'll even put it in my sleeping bag until it cooks all the way. But that's basically how I cook. Typically carry an alcohol stove, but in the really cold temperatures, I've been having some issues getting it started and primed. So I carry a canister now. This is a little Fitness City. I'm not sure. I got it online. It's titanium. It's a couple ounces, 2.5 ounces or so. Got an oil clamp, four-season canister in there. This is I believe a BSR knockoff. It weighs less than an ounce. I've been carrying a DeSoto, but this has been working out just fine. It has some different reviews about these pieces melting, getting too hot, but so far so good. And then the only other thing I keep in the pot is a little teeny scrubby. Sometimes cook on a campfire. Just helps get some of that creosote off, especially with just a little bit of the alcohol from your hand sanitizer, and then a lighter. Made my own top. This comes from coffee. It's a little berry that you peel off. I've had this one for about a year, and it's still holding up. Just help keep that heat in there. Food bag, line. It's just some inexpensive guide out line that I picked up with a little. This is actually from my stove there, and my rock bag, and a little carabiner. This has been my rock bag, but it still can be. Little MSR folding spoon. I've had this one for a few years. It's doing just fine. Also, I see the Summit titanium, or maybe it's aluminum, aircraft aluminum one, but I like them both. This one just folds up and stows away well. It's a little ditty bag, I guess is what they're called. So in here, I have just some bunch of stuff. So little recharger RAV4 battery. This is when things get switched out. I like carrying just the batteries for my phone, and then just 3 AAA batteries for the spot if they happen to die. Many times I'll carry the lithium, but this is just what I had for now, and what I'm using, the Duracell. Some extra headphones, wall charger. It's like a 2.5 amp wall charger, but it also has double output, so if somebody else needs to share with me just charging up my phone and changing batteries out, I only need 1 cord typically. But I didn't have my new batteries. I'm filming on an old Galaxy S5 that I got online, and I didn't have the new batteries for that particular phone until now. And here's just some miscellaneous, carry some hot hands, one for each night typically. I usually only use one at a time, just to kind of put around if I get any cold spots, but it has to be really cold for those. Little Z-Packs toothbrush, silicone gel, earplugs in there, a little bit of dental floss for my checkup that I use mainly for sewing, some chapstick type stuff, and nail clippers. I like to keep my nails down, especially on my toes and my fingers, but my toes, if they get too long, you know, they wear your socks out, and I've never had them blacking up since I was a kid, but anyway, I do carry nail clippers. This is some trash and food that ended up in there. A lot of this, like this Dyneema line, is actually for my hammock. It's just in there. I've got some patches, a couple of Band-Aids, a little teeny roll of Leuko tape, and some super glue in there, and a little, and pull that out. So there's a couple different patch tapes. There's the Cuban fiber, and then some tenacious tape. But I've also got a little bit of Gorilla tape, and I keep my sewing needle stuck down under the first couple of layers so that I put through that. And a little light load towel. I usually have one hanging on my pad here, and then one for drying out the tent, but I got some new ones, so I started swapping them out, and the one on my shoulder pad isn't there right now. It's sitting in my truck. And then this is just a cheap Walmart dry bag. It comes in a package of 3 for like 10 or 15 bucks, I don't even remember, but I've had this one for a few years now. Next, this is stuff that, it's a mix of things right now. All this wouldn't be in here, like, so a little face mask. This would typically just stay in with my sleeping stuff. Haven't used it but once. Don't know if I really need it, but it's still in there for now. These gloves, there's some outdoor research gloves, little finger gloves with caps that go over them, and they work okay, but they're pretty heavy, and it's one of the items I'll be switching out. As with, most likely I'll be switching out my Columbia gloves, and I'll show those at the end. Fleece, another Goodwill find, the dry fleece, Duo Dry. Used this for a few years now, it's holding up. Occasionally when we stop, I'll put this on. Sometimes I'll start hiking with this, but it typically comes off pretty quick. And then of course at night, I would sleep with this and the other things that I hiked in, and that's all I wore, other than a different hat to sleep in and an extra pair of socks to sleep in. Some of this is my sleep gear, so I have a pillow. Not sure who makes it, but this has been a recent addition. I've taken the last few trips. I enjoy having the pillow with me. Another SL blanket, but this is a different type, and it's breathable. So in our 0 degree temperature, single digits, I did put this over my feet. My feet weren't getting cold, but I just wanted to be sure, and I pulled them up over my legs. And but in general, I would just, if it was real moist and the shelter's even a tent, a lot of times I tarp camp, but on the through hike, when it's a lot of moisture flowing through, I will just stuff me and my bag down in here to help keep my bag drier. And then this is a Climate insulated static V pad. Work great for me now. The hammock, it wasn't quite warm enough with letting some of the air out, but other than that, it's been a good air pad. And of course, it's polished one. Before I get too far, let me go ahead and show you a couple of change out things. So these are some old kind gloves that I will be swapping out for my Columbia gloves. I've used these before in the past and I'll just be going back. The other ones work fine, but these have a little bit of water resistance to them, or a fair amount, you know. Torrential downpours for a long time, they'll start to soak through some. But they do have a Gore-Tex barrier, which helps. So those will be swapping out. And these outdoor researchers are going to be swapped out for these old Rando, I'm not sure what they are, mitts. Mainly for sleeping in, you know, keeping my fingers warm. It was so cold, if you stuck your fingers out, instantly it felt like you stuck them in ice water. So definitely those. I may start carrying some Darn Toughs again for when it's not going to be rainy, instead of wearing the Randy Sun socks, just because the other ones are a little tight on my legs sometimes. It doesn't bother me a whole lot, but it's just I've hiked a bunch of miles in these types of socks, and maybe this particular pair actually, and they've been just fine. This is something I normally carry if it's raining with and I don't have the cuddle dud legs on, you know, it's more springtime, but this is my answer to a kilt. I just got a little lock thing so you can tighten it up, the band, but you can just use the stretch thing. You can find these everywhere. It's just the kitchen bag with the bottom ripped open. Works great. And then I was talking about the batteries, so I finally got some batteries in, so I can just take and change batteries out of my phone, and it's a lot lighter weight. It's about the same weight for me to have 4 extra batteries as this that barely does a full charge. Well, it's supposed to do 2 charges, but I've had a few different batteries and they never do the amount of charge I think they're going to do, you know, based on what everybody else says they get out of it. It never works out for me. But these do, and I've done it with my old cameras. Okay, we're getting down to the end here. Yep, I think that's everything that I did. So this is going to be the rest of my sleep system, so to speak. Puffy jacket with cold temperatures and stuff. I never needed it other than for my fingertips. I ended up putting it around my pillow so I could tuck my fingers in there and keep them warm. But I will be carrying it. I'm hoping it doesn't get much colder than that, but you never know. It's a little Z-Packs hood, balaclava, it's down, face zips up. Like I said, I'll do more in-depth reviews and stuff on these equipment later. But I did wear that at night instead of this. And quilt, lighting equipment Enigma, I think is what it is. It's a 10-degree bag. I picked it up like in the garage sale area or whatever. It was I guess an item that was purchased and returned. Seemed to be perfectly fine. It doesn't smell very well. So some warm socks that I got for Christmas. I did wear these, and they kept my feet warm. So these pretty much stay with me, and these will go underneath my Randy Sun socks, so I can double up if I wanted more cushion on my feet, which I haven't felt I needed. I guess I could wear 2. Got an extra pair of Randy Sun socks because it was cheaper to buy 2 pairs at the same time. I haven't used them. This is one of my old light load towels. Used to dry up stuff, condensation, or moisture from setting up in the rain. They hold quite a bit of water, and you can squeeze them out and go back and still dry. They work, I think, better than chamois cloth or ShamWow or any of those. But give it a shot if you get a chance. And like I said, extra set of kettle buds, which I never need it, but you know, here they are. The final polyfoam. So basically, other than changing out the gloves, pretty happy with everything. And the gloves weren't bad. The hiking gloves weren't bad at all. The other ones weren't too bad. Just they were kind of tight on my fingers, and it felt like it was cutting some of the circulation off on the outdoor research ones. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll be happy to answer, and keep an eye out for some more videos. I'll do a little more in-depth review on a few items if people want to see it. So put it in the comments and we'll go from there. Thank you.